Welcome back to the channel, guys. Mule Fabrication. This is Vince. I got some goodies from Christmas that are going to help make this next video. So, what we are going to be doing today is we are going to be installing the TMR Atlas transfer case support ring. If you've never heard of these before, this hole here pinches onto the back of the transfer case and keeps everything solid, because with high horsepower, big tires, low gearing, it puts a lot of strain on the on the whole drivetrain that likes to move. So this basically helps isolate the transfer case, because otherwise, if you're in four-wheel drive and you really give it hard, that transfer case wants to lift sometimes. I've had it where it's ripped the transmission mount off. I've had it where the Atlas transfer cases come loose because it's allowing it, it's allowing to move without this support in there. And this is just a good thing to have on any Atlas transfer case. So we're going to be putting that on. I also got this nice floor jack for Christmas. And quit using these half worn out ones that I've had for years that are bent and twisted and have been run over. And then Wild Bill got me one of these super lights, 10,000 lumens. This is going to help with the videos where we can see more underneath the truck. So let's start going for this. And one of the good things about this transfer case support, where we'll be mounting this, is going to help a lot, because if you saw in one of my last videos, I had to cut a cross member out to make room for the 4-link. So I'm hoping to incorporate a new cross member with this in there. So let's get after it and see what kind of damage we can make. But first, I'm going to get this brand new floor jack out of its box and see how it works. Look at that. I said old Pittsburgh and the new Pittsburgh. This one you can actually see that gap there. This is all, whole top piece is bent. That will be good. That will be put to good use in this shop. Check this out. The new light that Wild Bill gave me. It's going to be great for filming and seeing. Woo! That lights up that pretty transfer case. So I'm getting ready to go bolt this section onto the back of the transfer case. This hole here is machined specifically with the cap bolted on, just like connecting rods. So when you bolt this on, there's 2 X's. You want to make sure you line those X's up, because otherwise if you flip it around, then it could be off the hole because of where these are located. So just good practice, match your X's up. So we'll go bolt this up underneath here and see where we land for a cross member. So where this piece bolts on here is right on this outer part of the Atlas. You probably can't see it in the camera, but there's a machined surface on the outside right before the pinion. So we'll get this bolted up there. And depending on where this lands, I'm like, even on my Hero rock crawler, I cut this part off, but I don't think we'll have that problem, because we got a lot of room down here in this more open drivetrain setup than what's in my Cherokee. There we go. So that's on there nice and solid. And then this is the bushing setup. Supposed to weld on just like that. So I am gonna take some measurements and see what I got for some either round or square tube to put across there to make this work. Open just like that. Let's go see. So when I went under there, it measured at 33.5, and I still haven't gone to the steel supply to get more tubing for the roll cage. That's what I'm going to use, because you can see here that fits nice there on some round tubing. But the biggest piece I got is 27.5 left over. So I'm going to try to make these scraps work. I'm going to use these tube clamps again for easy removal. So I'm hoping with what I have left here, I can get this thing mounted up, because these take up some space and you'll want a short plug on the frame side. So yeah, I think I can make something work here. I'm going to start measuring up and see what we got. That is kind of what we're looking at. I'm going to get measurements and trim these ends down here to close, a little bit bigger than 33.5, what I measured. We'll test fit it and we'll see where it lands up, because we'll have to do a little trimming, because on the inside of the frame it's not perfectly square, so these will end up being like a little bit of an angled cut on these. But right now we're at 40 inches, so I'll be cutting off, get this tacked up, and I'll be cutting off a few inches off each end. Roughly 3 inches off each end. Got one side tacked up, the other side has. What I was doing is just laying it in this little channel, get it as straight as you can. Doesn't need to be perfect for something like this, but straighter is better. A little crooked there. Make that work. Yeah, that one ended up a little crooked. I'll bust those tacks off and straighten it out. I did not like how that one lined up. Ah, there we go. As my 2.5-year-old daughter would say, that's more better. So you're probably wondering why I got a longer piece here and a shorter piece here. And that is because when I put this up, I'm going to trim it so this side here is a lot shorter, because I want some more clearance here for the transfer case for when you got to pull it out someday, versus over here I got all this real estate over here that I don't have to worry about anything. So this will go in there something like this. Get my Sharpie marker out of my pocket. You know what? I might get that new floor jack over here to hold this up so I can mark that angle and get it right where I want it. Gotta use that new Christmas presents. Sorry if all you're hearing is me grunting pulling this jack around. I'm getting old. I want to make sure you orient this so the clamps are, I like to have the weight sitting down onto the clamps. I'll sit in there something like this and mark these angles. I'll go get the other piece we can set up there. So by the looks of it, got a little bit of clearance. 7/8 of an inch of clearance there. So that's not going to bring that tube up. So we will have to trim the bottom of this off a bit to get this tube, you know, not to be hanging off the bottom there, to get it up to here. But we can still cut these angles here, and we'll put it back up, and then we'll measure how much we got to cut off of this bottom of the piece. I got the first rough cut done. It's pretty close. Trim off a little bit. Cut the angle just a little too steep because you get a little further in. We'll go back, we'll trim that, and we'll see where we land next. Test and fit, test and fit. That looks perfect right there. Yeah, we'll put it up with the jack. Otherwise this thing will fall down and knock me in the nose. And that looks pretty square right there. So I'll get the welder drug over here. We'll get that tacked in place. And then we will monkey around with this piece for getting that to fit up. So, I know I had said when I had cut that cross member out, that was actually right about here. I was hoping to incorporate this with that cross member that used to be here. But looking at it now, I had forgotten how far back that cross member was. So I'll be making a separate cross member for further back here. That's why I didn't overbuild this to be like a super cross member. It's just going to be enough to hold this. And for reference too, I didn't know when I ordered this, but when I had told Wild Bill this is what I wanted for Christmas. But these copes are cut out for 1 3/4 tubing, so they would work for 2 inch or 1.5 inch too, but it turned out nice like that because you can always open it up a little bit. So put this on here, we'll measure, cut. I'll take this off, cut that off, and then we can slide that in and weld that on right there. If anybody wants to donate a 2-post hoist to the channel, I would greatly appreciate it. Alright, got that piece trimmed down nice, and it's a little warm. Stick this back up in here. I was hoping I was gonna get one shot and fit perfect, but you know that's not how it goes sometimes. Yeah, looks like I cut, as typical to me, an extra 1/8 inch off. But you know what? Having to cut a little bit more off. Oh, sorry, wrestling with the light. Having to cut a little bit more off than cutting it too short is always better. So cutting that 1/8 inch off landed perfect. And as you can see here, you see those threads there? You see I got our X's lined up. This is tightened up. You just want to try to make sure those gaps are somewhat even, and it is designed to have a gap like that, so there is always tension on here. I work in the construction industry, and our dozer rollers and stuff are the same way, because if you machine this so this was bottomed out, then around this ring that's machined on the Atlas could get a little worn, and then no matter how tight you put it, it would never get the clamping force it needs. So we'll get this tacked up, and I think that's pretty good. So there it's all tacked up and fit into place. You guys aren't going to see this part till later because this is still in fit up process with this truck. I'm not fully welding everything yet in case I got to move it. But when you do weld these, disassemble the whole thing, pull these rubbers out before you weld it. Just a couple light tacks like this aren't going to melt the rubber in here because the bushing goes to roughly about there on each side for the rubber bushing. So yeah, you'll do that, put the rubber bushings in. Sometimes the tube distorts a little bit when you weld this front to back, and I've had that happen before, but you can still pound the rubber in and everything is good to go. So the TMR Atlas transfer case support is installed for now, and Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this episode. Please like and subscribe. And like I said in the last video, we're going to get some more tubing for the roll cage. Haven't been able to get it just because, of course, the steel suppliers are closed on Christmas, and then we go to family Christmas, and then now it's New Year's Day, so Happy New Year. So Thursday or Friday this week, I'll go get some of this and start making another video on how I'm going to finish this out. So awesome. Thank you. See you guys later.